The late strongman of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, was a man given to outlandish displays and some really bizarre behaviors. From claiming he built the world's fastest car, to using a white hand glove on his left hand, to delivering jabbing insults to fellow Arab leaders, to moving around the battalion of armed legends, Gaddafi was a master of drama. He unleashed one of the most dramatic instincts on his really unusual visit to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It was alleged that Gaddafi expressed total disrespect for his Nigerian host, embarrassed the Nigerian head of state, but by the time he left Nigeria, the same head of state gave Gaddafi the highest honors. Gaddafi is one of the few non-Nigerians to be gallanded with the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic GCFR. Others were Nelson Mandela of South Africa, Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia, and Akihito, Emperor of Japan. Hi guys, welcome to Vs Story. Join us as we uncover the controversial visits of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi to Nigeria. Do stay tuned and enjoy the ride. In May 1997, the Nigerian Permanent Mission to the United Nations in New York was putting up spirited attempts to save Nigeria from being slammed by an array of multilateral sanctions from some of the most powerful nations on earth. These countries were mad at Nigeria for violating a crucial UN resolution that prohibited Libyan flights to and from the UN member nations. Gaddafi had visited Nigeria in that month, and his visit stained Nigeria in the international community. Let's go to the visit of Muammar Gaddafi to Nigeria and how it allegedly happened. From the 8th to 10th of May 1997, Muammar Gaddafi was on a visit to Nigeria and Niger Republic. He was awarded the GCFR on the night of Friday 11th of May in Abuja by the Abacha government at a state banquet in Abuja. Abacha also honored the president Ibrahim Bare Mainesara of Niger Republic, who had accompanied Gaddafi on his trip to Nigeria. He flew into the two countries with all splendor of a king. As soon as Gaddafi landed in Nigeria, there was a massive torrent of criticisms from the press. There was no social media back then, so only the newspapers slaughtered the Libyan leader with acidic editorials. Religious leaders and members of the diplomatic corps slammed the Abacha regime while allowing Gaddafi to enter the Nigerian airspace. Gaddafi came to Nigeria at a time where things were really tense under the Abacha regime. Terrorists set off bombs in Ibadan and Onitsha, killing 5 people and destroying a mosque close to the Onitsha bridge. The bombs went off when Muslims were having their Jumat prayers. 3 died instantly. Many people were mad at Abacha for his alleged madness already perpetrated in the country, but were doubly maddened that he allowed the rogue leader in quote, like Gaddafi to enter Nigeria. There was so much noise all over the place about the visit, but the funny part was that the visit was not even an official one. Gaddafi was not in the country to see the Nigerian government or greet the head of state. He was in Nigeria for a religious purpose, to open the Kofa Mata Mosque in Kano State. Although, the Nigerian government later denied its role in the whole visit. The Nigerian Republic also denied knowing anything about Gaddafi's coming, saying that they did not have a radar system to detect an aircraft in its airspace or in its country of origin. The fact was that the entire thing was meticulously planned, with the full involvement of the Abacha regime, which was advised against the trip and almost cancelled it. Abacha gave his approval, said Nigeria should be allowed to choose its friends, damning the consequences and warning the international community, and they awaited the arrival of the Libyan colonel. His landing would be an unbelievable carnival, with extravagant fanfare probably never seen before in the history of heads of state visiting the nation. Gaddafi's grand arrival was at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano. Troops were deployed to the airport and security measures were thoroughly beefed up in a madness-filled manner characteristic of many Nigerian governments. All domestic and international flights were suspended 24 hours to the arrival of Gaddafi. The bloody civilians, who were unlucky enough to have shops within the vicinity of the airport, were ordered to vacate the premises. The airport taxi services were banned, and heavily armed soldiers took over the airport. By the time Gaddafi, the emperors of the heavens, landed, it was outlandish to say the least. The guy Ronald Reagan referred to as the mad dog of the Middle East landed with almost 1,000 people in his entourage. They were made up of journalists, security operatives and others, all Libyan. And Gaddafi did not come with one aircraft, he came with 6. He brought his own Mercedes-Benz limousine and full stock of Libyan food. There was also not eating any food provided by Nigerian hosts. He came with his own food, but the worst was yet to come, and if not for some luck and fate, some people would have been killed. Now, here is how it allegedly happened. It was Gaddafi's overzealous security operatives and bodyguards. They disregarded every law in the book relating to the reception of a foreign head of state or dignitary. Normally, Nigeria was supposed to be responsible for providing security of a visiting head of state, but Gaddafi's security people would have none of that. They shoved the Nigerian counterparts aside and took over the strategic points at the stops at the airport in Kano and at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. Gaddafi's visit was beginning to look like an invasion of a foreign nation, as the Nigerian forces helplessly looked on as Gaddafi's army took over the post at the Kano State Government House and even the Kufa Mata Mosque that Gaddafi had come to commission. But Gaddafi was not done yet. He refused to drive in a car that was provided by his host, which was against traditions of diplomacy. The greatest shocker came when Gaddafi started addressing his audience in Kano. He told the adulating crowd of frenzied Nigerians in a tone that was a call to arms, saying, "From this year, we are going to mobilize our Muslim brothers all over the world to counter the malicious Western propaganda and insult." He did not stop there. He also blasted his enemies, saying, "The United Nations is controlled by the greatest enemy of human race, which is the United States, while the Zionists are now approaching and are about to take over the holy city of Mecca." The crowd went mad with deafening roars. Gaddafi went on, punching in the air with his clenched fist. Some Nigerians felt like they were in the presence of a god. He mesmerized his fans, who saw him as a kind of messiah. The high point of the whole event was what really pissed off many Nigerians, was the alleged insult on General Sani Abacha, the Nigerian head of state and host. Hey guys, I really appreciate it if you take out some time to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as it goes a long way in supporting our efforts. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video. Gaddafi's bodyguards were so overprotective of their strongman that they allegedly stopped Abacha from getting close to Gaddafi. It was a complete PR disaster for the Abacha regime, as many Nigerians laughed like crazy in the corners of their beds without electricity, while others were safely shocked that the head of state would have been treated with so much disdain in his own country by a foreigner. Although, Abacha himself looked every inch irritated by the whole thing, and his chief security officer, Major Hamza al-Mustafa, even allegedly got into a scuffle with the Libyan guards over the matter. That did not stop the Abacha regime from awarding Gaddafi with the highest national honor of Nigeria, the Grand Commander of the Federal Republic, GCFR. One wonders what Gaddafi must have been thinking of Nigerians on his way back to Tripoli. But Gaddafi will return to Nigeria to unleash even more greater controversy. Kano Mokri, special assistant to former President Goodluck Jonathan, has recounted how the late Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi was prevented from bringing a large amount of ammunition into the country during a visit. The former presidential aide was reacting to an alleged breach of protocol by the Burkinabe president, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, when he met newly sworn-in Ghanaian President John Mahama. Omokri faulted Traoré's meeting of Mahama with a weapon, adding that such a matter can never happen in Nigeria. He said the development once again demonstrates the difference between Nigeria and Ghana and vindicates the former's position as a regional power. Recounting the incidents, which he said he personally witnessed, Omokri said a former Libyan strongman was denied twice during the Obasanjo regime to come into Nigeria with arms, including his aides. And on both occasions, he was stopped and cut to size, he said. According to him, the first time was during the African Heads of Government Summit on rollback malaria, which was held on Tuesday, April 25, 2000. Colonel Gaddafi's female bodyguards tried to enter the International Conference Center Abuja with their weapons, but were stopped by President Olusegun's chief security officer, who had an argument with them and disarmed them at gunpoint before they were allowed into the venue with Colonel Gaddafi to join other African leaders. The second incident was even more dramatic and was actually a setup. It was during the African-South American Summit in November 2006, Abuja. Colonel Gaddafi had arrived on Tuesday 28 November 2006 with about 5 huge planes, which offloaded a total of 50 cars or thereabouts. The problem is that these cars were loaded with weapons. The Nigerian officials at the Nnamdi Azikiwe airport told Mr. Gaddafi and over 200 guards that they would not leave the airport with either their weapons and will have to put them back on their place under the supervision of the Nigerian army. Omekri added Colonel Gaddafi was incensed. Since he would not be allowed to leave the airport with his cars filled with weapons, he would walk into Abuja. Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, who was detailed by President Obasanjo to receive Colonel Gaddafi, was concerned and called the president, who told him to tell Gaddafi he was on his way to the airport. When President Olusegun Obasanjo arrived, he played with Gaddafi and told him he was on his way to Lagos, but that the incident would be resolved by his personal representative, Minister Fani-Kayode. The president then took Mr. Fani-Kayode aside and whispered in his ear in Yoruba, to the effect that, "You are in charge, play with him, be polite and diplomatic, but those weapons are not entering Abuja," Obasanjo said. Obasanjo then headed to Lagos, leaving Chief Fani-Kayode to argue back and forth with Gaddafi, who threatened to return to Libya. But in line with Obasanjo's instructions, Fani-Kayode subtly told him that, "We would rather have you stay, but if you choose to go, we understand." And then Gaddafi saw how resolute Chief Fani-Kayode was. They returned all their weapons to their place under the supervision of the Nigerian army, he submitted. Omokri said the stance of the Nigerian government on the issue, following Obasanjo's instructions, forced the late Libyan leader aides to go spiritual over the matter. When Colonel Gaddafi was allowed into Abuja, he was escorted to the guest house arranged for him by Nigeria. The first thing his guards did was to slaughter a ram and spill the blood in front of the door. Once that happened, Colonel Gaddafi stepped over the blood into the house and would not allow anyone else enter after him, he submitted. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I would really love to know your thoughts about the visits of Muammar Gaddafi to Nigeria. What are your thoughts about Renault's boastful comments about the power and influence of Nigeria, especially considering the first visit of Muammar Gaddafi in 1997? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification button to get more content like this about African history. It's been Nnamdi from African Historic. See you in the next one.